I knew, I knew that my life had changed. Miss you, love you, big man.
The room is too big for one man. In late 2025, Bruce Springsteen sits in a dim corner of his house in Colts Neck, New Jersey. The ceilings stretch high, built to impress guests who aren't there anymore. A guitar rests against a chair, untouched. Not broken, not abandoned, just still. There's a printed set list on the table. The songs are familiar. Born to Run, Thunder Road, Dancing in the Dark. The same songs that filled stadiums for decades. But the paper has notes scribbled in the margins. Adjust key, shorten bridge, skip verse if voice goes. Springsteen stares at it longer than necessary. His voice has held for over 50 years. That's not normal. Not for someone who has pushed it this hard. Night after night. City after city. But now, there are pauses between songs that weren't there before. Moments where he turns his back to the crowd. Not for drama, but to breathe. The crowds don't notice at first. They still see the man who ran across stages in the 1970s like he had something to outrun. But something is slowing down. Springsteen knows it. The band knows it. The silence between notes is getting longer. And somewhere between the applause and the quiet, there's a decision forming. Not announced. Not confirmed. But present. At 76, why would a man like Bruce Springsteen step away now? What changes after a lifetime of noise? To understand that, you have to go back to a small house in Freehold, New Jersey. A place that smelled like oil, sweat, and cigarette smoke. Bruce Frederick Joseph Springsteen is born on September 23, 1949. The house sits on South Street. Not a scenic neighborhood. No clean lawns or quiet streets. Just working-class tension packed into tight spaces. His father, Douglas Springsteen, works various jobs. Bus driver, factory worker, anything that pays. He comes home tired. Not just physically tired. Something deeper. He sits in the dark kitchen at night, smoking, watching nothing. Bruce notices that early. Silence becomes a normal sound. His mother, Adele, works as a legal secretary. She is the opposite. Organized, moving, keeping the house running while Douglas withdraws. Bruce grows up between those two forces. Motion and stillness. At school, he doesn't fit. He doesn't speak much. Teachers don't know what to do with him. Other kids notice it too. He's not athletic. Not social. Just there. There are stories from Catholic school. Nuns who didn't understand him. One reportedly stuffed him in a trash can. Whether exaggerated or not, the message sticks. Bruce doesn't belong here. So he retreats. Into music. The first time Bruce Springsteen sees Elvis Presley on television, something clicks. It's not inspiration in a poetic sense. It's more practical. He sees a way out. He gets his first guitar. It's cheap. Hard to play. His fingers hurt. He keeps going anyway. Hours in his room. Repeating chords. Messing up. Starting again. No applause. No encouragement. Just repetition. His father doesn't approve. There's tension. Real tension. Douglas sees music as a distraction. Not a future. Bruce keeps playing anyway. By his late teens, he's playing in local bands. Small clubs. VFW halls. Anywhere that will let him set up equipment. The crowds are small. Sometimes drunk. Sometimes uninterested. He plays longer than necessary. He doesn't know how to stop. That becomes a pattern. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, Bruce moves through different band names. Steel Mill. The Bruce Springsteen Band. Nothing sticks. Not commercially. But industry people start noticing something else. Not hits. Not yet. Energy. Springsteen doesn't just play songs. He performs like the room owes him something. In 1972, he signs with Columbia Records. That should be the break. The moment everything changes. It isn't. His first album, Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey, comes out in 1973. Critics like it. Sales don't follow. Same story with The Wild, The Innocent and the E Street Shuffle. Springsteen is praised. Compared to Bob Dylan, that sounds good on paper. It doesn't pay bills. The label starts getting nervous. Money is being spent. Return is low. Bruce feels it. Pressure builds. Not from fame, but from the lack of it. He's not a star yet. He's a problem that hasn't been solved. Then comes the third album, Born to Run. Recorded in exhaustion. Long sessions. Endless takes. Springsteen chasing a sound he can't fully describe. Band members frustrated. Engineers tired. Costs rising. At one point, Bruce isolates himself, working obsessively on the title track. It takes months. Not because he can't play it, because he can't accept it. When Born to Run releases in 1975, everything shifts. Suddenly, Bruce Springsteen is on the cover of Time and Newsweek in the same week. That doesn't happen by accident. But the success doesn't feel clean. Feels like survival. Expectations spike immediately. The industry doesn't give him time to breathe. Now he has to prove it wasn't luck. The tours get bigger. The shows get longer. 3 hours. Sometimes more. Springsteen runs across the stage like he's being chased. Slides on his knees. Jumps onto pianos. Climbs speakers. Every night. No breaks. This is where the mythology starts. The idea that Bruce Springsteen is tireless. That he doesn't slow down. But behind that, something else is forming. A habit. Push harder than necessary. Never stop first. Never show fatigue. Even if it's there. Especially if it's there. By the end of the 1970s, Springsteen isn't just a musician. He's a machine built for performance. But machines wear down. After Born to Run, there isn't a moment where Bruce Springsteen gets to settle into success. The industry doesn't allow that. Once the sales numbers come in, the expectation resets immediately. Bigger, faster, more. But instead of accelerating, Springsteen slows things down in a way that confuses people around him. There's a legal dispute with his former manager, Mike Appel. It drags on. Months turn into years. Springsteen can't release new music during that time. For someone who built momentum through constant output, that silence matters. The machine stalls. Springsteen stays on the road, but something shifts internally. The shows are still long, still physically demanding, but there's frustration now. Not visible to the audience, but present behind the stage. When the lawsuit finally resolves, he releases Darkness on the Edge of Town in 1978. The tone is different. The sound is heavier, less romantic, more grounded. Springsteen isn't writing about escape anymore. He's writing about being stuck. Factory jobs, dead-end streets, men who don't leave. It reflects where his mind has gone. The success returns, but it's more controlled this time. Not explosive like Born to Run. More steady, more deliberate. Then comes The River in 1980. A double album. More songs. More touring. The pattern continues. Long shows, longer nights. But something is starting to wear thin. Springsteen isolates more between performances. Hotel rooms become routine. Not luxury, just space to recover. He reads, writes, repeats. There's no real off switch. In 1982, he releases Nebraska, a stripped-down album recorded on a simple tape machine. No band, no stadium sound, just his voice. Quiet, controlled. It doesn't fit the image that's forming around him, but it reflects something closer to his internal state. Stillness, isolation. Then comes the explosion. Born in the USA in 1984. Commercially, it changes everything. 7 top 10 singles. Massive radio play. Stadium tours. Money scales up quickly. Springsteen moves into a different financial bracket entirely. Tens of millions. Then more. Houses expand. Not just in size, but in number. New Jersey properties. California estates. At one point, his main home in Colts Neck spans over 300 acres. Gated. Private. designed to keep distance between him and everything else. Inside, the rooms are large, clean, quiet, too quiet sometimes. The E Street Band becomes global. The tours stretch across continents, but the physical cost increases. Springsteen is now in his mid-30s, performing like he's still in his early 20s, sliding across stages, sprinting, holding notes longer than necessary, night after night. There's no scaling back. The body absorbs it. Knees start to feel it first, then his voice. Small adjustments at first. Nothing the audience would notice. But Springsteen notices. After the Born in the USA tour ends in 1985, something unexpected happens. He pulls back. Not completely, but enough for people to notice. There's a shift away from the E Street Band. Less touring, different collaborations. Then comes Tunnel of Love in 1987. The songs are more personal, focused on relationships, distance, emotional strain. It reflects his personal life at the time. Springsteen's marriage to Julianne Phillips is deteriorating, quietly at first, then more visibly. Divorce follows. Another separation. Another reset. By the early 1990s, Springsteen makes a move that surprises fans. He dissolves the E Street Band. Not permanently, but enough to create distance. This isn't a small decision. The band isn't just a group of musicians. It's the structure that supported his rise. Removing that changes everything. He releases Human Touch and Lucky Town in 1992. The response is mixed. Not failure, but not dominance either. Sales are solid, not explosive. The tours are smaller. The energy feels different. Springsteen isn't running across the stage the same way. The performances are more contained. There's a noticeable plateau. Not a collapse, but not the same upward climb. The phone doesn't stop ringing, but the urgency fades. This is where many artists drift. Comfort replaces pressure. But Springsteen doesn't fully settle into that. He steps back again, spends more time away from touring, focuses on family life with Patti Psi Alpha. Children come into the picture. The routine changes. Morning schedules, school runs, domestic structure. For the first time in decades, Springsteen's life isn't built entirely around performance. But the pull doesn't go away. In 1999, he reunites with the E Street Band. The tour that follows is long, demanding, and something interesting happens. The audience is still there. Not just there, loyal, older now, different demographics, but present. Springsteen adjusts his performances slightly. Less reckless movement, more control. But the shows are still long, still pushing past 3 hours, still demanding everything from his body. By the early 2000s, the comeback is clear. Albums like The Rising, 2002, reconnect him with a broader audience. Themes shift again. Reflecting the post, Springsteen becomes more than a performer again. He becomes a voice people look to. That brings a different kind of pressure. Public expectations, political commentary, cultural presence. He steps into it. Tours continue. Revenues grow. By this point, Springsteen's net worth climbs into the hundreds of millions. Estimates vary, but by the mid-2010s, it's clear he's operating in the upper tier of wealth. Private jets, multiple properties, long-term investments. Then comes one of the biggest financial moves of his career. In 2021, Springsteen sells his music catalog to Sony Music Entertainment. The deal is reportedly worth around $500 million. $500 million. That's not just money. That's finality. Selling a catalog means handing over control of your life's work. Songs written in small rooms, recorded under pressure, performed thousands of times, now owned by a corporation. Springsteen doesn't frame it as a loss. It's a business decision. Clean, calculated, but it changes the relationship between him and his own music. Ownership shifts. At the same time, the tours continue. The Broadway show, Springsteen on Broadway, strips everything down again. Just him. A guitar. Stories. No band. No spectacle. The performances are controlled. Minimal movement. A different kind of endurance. By 2023 and 2024, the E Street Band tours resume again. Crowds are massive. Demand remains high, but the physical strain is more visible now. In 2023, several shows are postponed due to health issues. Peptic ulcer disease. It's not dramatic on the surface, but it affects stamina, energy levels. Springsteen steps back temporarily, recovers, returns. But the return isn't identical. There are adjustments, shorter movements, longer pauses, set lists structured to manage energy. This is the phase where the body starts negotiating terms. Not stopping, just limiting. Springsteen continues performing into 2025. The revenue remains strong. Tickets sell out quickly, but the pattern is clear. More breaks between shows. More attention to recovery. Less excess movement. The machine is still running, but it's not running the same way. And behind all of it, there's a growing question. Not from the audience, from Springsteen himself. How long can this continue? And what happens when it doesn't? By the time Bruce Springsteen reaches his 70s, the rhythm of his life is no longer built on ambition. It's built on maintenance. Maintenance of the body. Maintenance of the voice. Maintenance of an identity that was constructed decades ago and never allowed to slow down. The public still sees the same figure. Jeans, boots, guitar strapped high, moving across the stage with intent. But up close, the details start to separate. There are more people around him now before a show. Not bandmates, specialists, vocal coaches, doctors, physical therapists. Springsteen doesn't walk straight from a dressing room to the stage anymore. There's preparation, stretching routines, quiet vocal warm-ups, measured breathing. Everything is calculated, because the margin for error is smaller. The voice that once pushed through 3-hour sets without strain now needs pacing. Certain songs are adjusted, keys lowered slightly, verses shortened if needed. It's not obvious to most of the audience, but it's constant. Springsteen has always written about physical labor, about men whose bodies wore out before their time. Factory lines, construction sites, jobs that took more than they gave. Now, his own body is part of that story, not in metaphor, in reality. The tours in the 2020s continue, but they are structured differently. More breaks between dates, more recovery time, less spontaneity in set lists. There's a discipline to it that wasn't there in the 1970s. Back then, excess was the point. Now, control is. The financial side of his life is stable to the point of abstraction. The catalog sale to Sony Music Entertainment sits in the background like a completed transaction that doesn't need revisiting. $500 million. Springsteen doesn't need to tour for income anymore. That changes the purpose of every performance. He's not building anything financially. He's sustaining something else. Relevance, connection, habit. His properties remain extensive. The Colts Neck estate still stands as the central base. Over 300 acres. Gated, shielded from public view. Inside, the environment is controlled. Large rooms, clean lines, minimal noise. There are other homes. Los Angeles, Florida, places designed for privacy. Springsteen moves between them, but the movement is quieter now. Less urgency, less travel for the sake of movement. At home, the routine is consistent. Early mornings, coffee, reading, writing, sometimes music, sometimes silence. Patty Psi Alpha is still there. Their relationship has outlasted the earlier fractures of his life. But it's not the kind of relationship that gets described publicly in detail. It's functional, grounded. They've raised 3 children together. By the mid-2020s, those children are adults with their own lives. The house that once held a family structure is quieter. Rooms that were used daily are now maintained out of habit. This is where the silence becomes noticeable again. Not the silence of his childhood kitchen. A different kind. Earned silence. But silence still carries weight. Springsteen has spoken publicly over the years about depression. Not in abstract terms. In physical ones. Periods where getting out of bed felt like a task. Moments where the energy that fueled his performances wasn't available in private. That doesn't disappear with age. If anything, it becomes more defined. Because there are fewer distractions. Fewer constant demands pulling attention outward. The internal space gets larger. And what fills it isn't always controlled. There are days where Springsteen writes. Pages of lyrics. Fragments. Ideas that may never become songs. There are days where he doesn't. Where the guitar stays in its case. Where the hours move slower. These aren't dramatic collapses. They're subtle. But they accumulate. Physically, the signs continue. His posture changes slightly over time. Nothing extreme. Just a gradual shift. The way he stands at the microphone. The way he holds the guitar. There's more weight in the stance. Less forward motion. His hands show it too. Veins more visible. Grip tighter in some moments. Looser in others. During performances, there are points where he steps back from the mic earlier than before. Not for effect. For breath. The audience fills those gaps with applause. They don't register the reason. But Springsteen does. Every adjustment is logged internally. Every change is noted. Because the alternative is ignoring it. And ignoring it is not something his body allows anymore. There's also the loss around him. Members of the E Street Band aging alongside him. Health issues. Absences. Death. These aren't distant events. They happen within his immediate circle. Each one removes a piece of the structure that defined his career. Clarence Clemons passed in 2011. That absence still sits in the performances. The space where the saxophone used to dominate certain songs is now filled differently. Not replaced. Adjusted. Other band members deal with their own limitations. Tours continue, but the group itself is not the same organism it once was. It's older. More careful. More aware of time. Springsteen stands at the center of that, not as the same force that drove it in the 1970s, but as the figure holding it together. That role carries weight, because when he steps away, the structure doesn't continue in the same form. By 2024 and 2025, the idea of an ending is no longer theoretical. It's discussed in quieter terms. Not through announcements, through behavior. Set lists begin to feel more curated. Certain songs appear more frequently. Others disappear. There's a sense of consolidation. Like someone reviewing a long history and deciding what remains. Springsteen doesn't explicitly say this is the final stretch. But the pattern is familiar to people who have watched long careers wind down. Fewer risks. More reflection. In interviews, his tone shifts slightly. Less forward-looking. More retrospective. He talks about the past in concrete detail. Specific nights. Specific recordings. Specific moments. The kind of recall that suggests he's measuring distance. Not just remembering. Comparing. There's also the question of purpose. If the money is secured. If the legacy is established. If the audience remains. Why continue? For Springsteen, the answer has always been tied to performance itself. The act of going on stage. But that act is changing. It requires more preparation. More recovery. More compromise. At some point, the equation shifts. The cost outweighs the function. That's where the current moment sits. Not at a dramatic collapse. At a threshold. In late 2025, there are reports of more canceled or postponed shows. Health reasons. Nothing catastrophic. But enough to disrupt the pattern. Springsteen addresses it directly. Acknowledges the limitations. Thanks the audience for patience. Returns when he can. But each interruption adds to the question. How many returns are left? Inside the Colts Neck House, the setlist still sits on the table. Adjusted. Rewritten. Prepared. But there are more nights where it doesn't leave the room. Where the guitar stays leaning against the chair. Where the stage exists somewhere else. This is the part that doesn't get recorded. No cameras. No audience. Just a man who has spent over 50 years in motion, now sitting still. The stillness isn't forced. It's emerging. Gradually. Inevitably. Springsteen has always controlled his narrative carefully. Even the catalog sale. Even the Broadway show. Each move calculated. So if there is a final decision, it won't come suddenly. It will appear as a continuation of what's already happening. More space between shows. Fewer appearances. Longer periods at home. Until one stretch doesn't end. And the absence becomes the conclusion. There won't be a single night that defines it. No final chord that signals everything is over. Just a gradual reduction. Until the noise stops. And what remains is the record. Albums that still play. Songs that still circulate. A voice captured in a period where it didn't need to rest. But the man behind it won't be there in the same way. In 2026, Bruce Springsteen is still present. Still capable of stepping onto a stage. Still recognized instantly. But the distance between appearances is larger. The effort required is greater. The outcome is less certain. He moves through his house in the morning. The same routine. Coffee. Quiet. Maybe a guitar. Maybe not. There are no immediate deadlines. No urgent calls. No pressure to produce. For someone who built his life on constant output, that absence is significant, because it removes the structure. And without that structure, the question becomes more direct. What is left when the performance ends? Springsteen's legacy is already defined in public terms. Albums sold. Tours completed. Cultural impact measured. But legacy isn't only external. There's the internal version. The one that exists when there's no audience. When the house is quiet. When the set list stays on the table. That's where he is now. Not erased. Not forgotten. Just reduced to the essentials. A man. A body that has carried decades of repetition. A voice that has pushed through thousands of nights. And the awareness that both have limits. At 76, Bruce Springsteen isn't making a dramatic exit. He's stepping back in increments. Small enough that most people won't notice the exact moment it happens. Large enough that, over time, the absence becomes clear. And when it does, the question won't be about ticket sales or chart positions. It will be simpler. After all the noise, all the movement, all the years of refusing to slow down, what does Bruce Springsteen leave behind when he finally does?